Cooper Kupp says the Rams want to trade him. The Lakers will introduce Luka Doncic today as more trade worlds be a-swirlin', and then after an upset win over a top 10 team. Does USC basketball have a chance at March Madness? Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is February 4th, 2025. I am back in Portland for work. I spent a little time yesterday outside Moda Center trying to find out if the Lakers had reached out to the Trailblazers to trade for any of the centers that they have there. But the arena is literally surrounded by a fortress of homeless tents. Crypto.com Arena, surrounded by statues. Moda Center, floating in a moat of urine and hypodermic needles by the locals. And how has your week started off? Anyway, if you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a quick look at the scoreboard. There were no games involving LA teams yesterday, but today, Lakers at Clippers, 7 o'clock. Luka Doncic will not be playing tonight. The Lakers have won 8 of their last 10 games. 9th-ranked Michigan State at UCLA at 7 o'clock. The Spartans used to rank 7th. USC took care of that. Ultimately, I'd like to remind Bruins fans who bemoaned the schedule that it's eventually working both ways. Just look at Michigan State. And USC is at Northwestern at 6 o'clock. What do you say we get to the news? Cooper Kupp, who won receiving's Triple Crown back in 2021, not that long ago, folks, and topped it off by catching a last-minute game-winning touchdown pass in Super Bowl 56, said the Rams have informed him that they are seeking to trade him. He added the outcome was not what he wanted, that he would rather stay, and is, quote, highly motivated, unquote, about continuing to play. And when you read the post, just reading the words, you could tell that he's trying to be polite, and he is a lot angrier about this than he is letting on, which absolutely sucks because he is an LA Rams legend. Right up there almost with Jack Youngblood, I would say, Eric Dickerson, a lot of players that have worn those colors with pride. If, however, you are bothered by the Rams treating a franchise legend in a cold-blooded manner, know two things. I don't blame you, but if you take a step back, you could see why the front office acted as cold-blooded as Hans Gruber did in Die Hard. Since the Rams won that Super Bowl at the start of 2022, Kupp has missed 18 games due to injury, and he has a salary of more than $25 million a year. Moreover, Cooper Kupp, he's not even the number one receiver on that team anymore. Puka Nacua stepped in admirably as the Rams' top receiving threat. The Athletic reported that the Rams did not ask Kupp to renegotiate. Look, there's going to be multiple teams chasing this guy down. Multiple. Jim Harbaugh needs to wobble his way across SoFi Stadium, even if they've already removed his hip, in order to find Kupp and beg him to join that receiving corps. It wouldn't be surprising to see a bidding war meanwhile develop. If the Rams, by the way, do make a trade, which could literally happen any day now because we'll get to that in a moment, if the Rams find a partner in a deal that can be executed on June 1st, they would save $20 million in the salary cap. $20 million. And you hate to say it, who doesn't love Cooper Kupp? I own a Cooper Kupp jersey, for Pete's sakes. But $20 million saved for a guy that misses a lot of time. Should they not find a trade partner and cut the guy, the number would drop to $15 million, which you certainly don't want to sneeze at. Now, why should you not be surprised to see a move develop quickly? Because general manager Les Snead has a saying: if it's inevitable, make it immediate. So the Rams aren't waiting for calls, they're being proactive about it. Just ask Jalen Ramsey. Now, wide receiver would become an immediate red flag for the team. Sean McVay runs 11 personnel. That means 3 wide receivers. Without Kupp, that's going to leave Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson, and maybe Jordan Whittington? Maybe Tutu Atwell? We have no idea. The Rams' offense, to function properly, is going to need a dependable set of hands in that room. But that's a hell of an earthquake right there in the Rams offense. There were times where when Kupp was injured, the Rams offense was not nearly as effective. You could talk quarterbacks, you could talk running backs. Cooper Kupp could rightfully be called the guy who made that offense work until Nacua came along. Meanwhile, tight end coach and passing game coordinator Nick Caley has left the Rams to become the offensive coordinator with Houston. He replaces Bobby Slowick, who ran the Texans offense for 2 years. Now, there was a belief out in Houston that C.J. Stroud, the quarterback, regressed in the second year. If you saw the Chargers-Texans playoff game, especially the second half, you might disagree with that assessment. But that's going to be Caley's mandate, to continue Stroud's upward arc. He's never been an offensive coordinator before, and yet he was also the supposed favorite to take Tampon Bay's OC gig. He turned that one down. Jacksonville, meanwhile, has asked the Rams for permission to interview Zach Cromer about their offensive line coaching gig. It would be a lateral move for Cromer, so permission has to be sought first. Jaguars coach Liam Cohen spent a year as LA's offensive coordinator, but the Rams stunk up the joint that year. Cohen had to go back to college. He revived his career in Kentucky, then got back to the NFL with Tampon Bay, parlayed that into a head coaching gig for one of the worst franchises in the league. And I guess what I'm trying to say for Cromer is, from the outside, it looks like a lateral move. Common sense, it makes it look like a demotion. Rams, Jags. You have to be reminded the Jacksonville Jaguars exist, for Pete's sake. Never mind the fact that they don't know what they're doing. Meanwhile, with the Lakers, Luka Doncic is targeted February 8th for a return to the Mavs. He's currently nursing a calf injury. Now, as it turns out, the Lakers are going to be playing Indiana at Crypto.com Arena that same day, so you might wind up seeing that as his debut. By the way, Magic Johnson said Doncic needs to watch his weight. Thanks for the insight. No kidding. Doncic looks like me in a Lakers jersey right now. I understand. I didn't realize there was a state the obvious contest. As predicted, and you didn't have to be Nostradamus to predict it, ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting that Golden State has called the Lakers about LeBron James. The Warriors desperately want to add a superstar to pair with Steph Curry. This would mark 2 consecutive years that Golden State has called LA about LeBron. Now, having said that, the odds of Golden State adding James, or any superstar for that matter, are pretty slim. James, for example, said he plans on exercising his no-trade clause. The Warriors also called Miami about Jimmy Butler, who is reportedly not interested in signing an extension over there. Yesterday, I mentioned that it's a bad idea to Google Lakers trade rumors because it's all clickbait porn. It's never right. I would even argue that Lakers trade clickbait porn might even be worse for society than real pornography. At least you don't gossip with your coworkers about watching pornography, right? You gossip about Laker trade rumors, you eventually look like a moron. That's even worse. You know not to gossip about watching real pornography. Do you really want to gossip about something that's going to make you look like a damn idiot in 2 days? I don't. If it matters, CBSSports.com said the Lakers have two needs. But of the two, center prioritizes 3-and-D wing. Here's your trade primer for the next 2 days. Makes sense, by the way. Replacing a center would matter a lot more. Anthony Davis creates a much bigger void than Max Christie. Okay? So, where do the Lakers stand? Austin Reeves is still considered an untouchable. He has established himself as their third scorer. CBS went so far as to say that Reeves, James, and Doncic comprise arguably the most threatening offensive trio in the league. I'll have to see that play out on the court first. But more trade possibilities will center around the following names in a package. It's a 2 to 3 step kind of thing. A package is either going to start with Rui Hachimura and or Gabe Vincent, because they have mid-level type salaries that match up in a salary cap, and Hachimura can score. Then you're going to add probably Dalton Connect. Affordable salary, definitely has a decent future. Maybe that 2031 first round draft pick or multiple second round picks. So, in other words, if you're putting together a package, you have to ask yourself, who is worth Hachimura and or Vincent plus Dalton Connect plus that first round pick or multiple second round picks? That's the most likely scenario. Another possibility is just to say to hell with the trade deadline, not make a move, and stand pat. I doubt they're going to do it, but let's just say that they do. If that's the option that the Lakers choose, they could reload the team in free agency in the summer of 2026. Because right now, the Lakers only have 2 people with guaranteed salary for the 2026 payroll. Who knew it would be Jared Vanderbilt and Shake Milton? To their credit, the LA Times wondered where USC basketball lands in terms of bracketology. And whoever invented that word, I wish they would drag him out into an alley, drop a cue ball in a sock, and blast him in the teeth with it multiple times. I wish that word was never invented, but so be it. The Trojans are just 13-8. They started the season 5-4. So the short answer is the Trojans are on the outside looking in. But USC has a fine chance to build a better resume. They have 6 so-called quad 1 games to go. You may have heard the phrase quad 1, but have no idea what it is. I was one of them until yesterday afternoon. A quad 1 win comes against a team that's ranked in the top 30 if it's at your home, or in the top 50, a top 50 ranked team if it's at a neutral site, or in the top 75 away if it's a road game. By the way, one of those road games is going to be against UCLA at Pauley Pavilion, so traveling across the country might not enter the equation. There is a chance, I'm saying, for USC. The NHL trade deadline is still more than a month away, but I want to give you a little heads up for the Kings. The last couple of years, the Kings were so up against the cap that you could not fit a used car in the available money that you had to spend. That's not a joke. It was like 10 grand. Now, the Kings have 1.6 million in cap space today. Not amazing, but it is a little better. The Kings also don't have a lot of quality assets. The prospect pool dried up thanks to other trades that didn't work. Thank you very much for bringing Pierre-Luc Dubois, by the way. Now, the Kings could deal a first-round draft pick for 2025, but they don't have a second-round pick that year. Considering that they were shut out in consecutive games last week, an offensive winger would be a lovely idea. But then you look at what the Kings have to offer, and it really ain't much. You would have to find a cheap one, both in terms of salary and in terms of assets to send back. Thank you, Rob Blake. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Where do you see the Rams sending Cooper Kupp? Or for that matter, how angry are you about Cooper Kupp? And for that matter, where do you believe the Lakers are going to go with the assets that they do have? If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.